Welcome to the 20th episode of It's All About People, where we discuss with special guests just to help us to grow our purpose in life. And in today's session, we have a guest speaker who is working on men's lifestyle and is also an expert in the same field. So, Mr. Ronak Vora, we welcome you to this podcast.
Thank you, Herschelle. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's great. Sir, and when we were discussing in the initial stages of setting up
Yeah.
a podcast, you told that you were a men's lifestyle expert. And I found this word for the first time. What is it all about? And maybe what made you to choose that maybe you wanted to work in the same field?
Right. That's a very great question. And I hear that a lot. And I ask this question a lot. And mostly, the females who are my friends, they call me sexist since I'm a men's coach, So the purpose is very simple, Herschel. It's that men today, we don't have a community of brothers. We are very separated. We live a very separated life. We are just living uh, in a very small environment, like just paying our bills, taking care of family, going to work, and hanging out with friends. We have a very limited, I would say, lifestyle that we are living, and we are meant to do so much more, right? If you look at the history, if you look at the men in history, and you study the history, men have done incredible things, right? We have moved mountains, we have built castles, we have gone on war, and we have done some incredible things. Why? Because there was that brotherhood, there was that sense of purpose, there was some higher calling, and be it a man or a woman, I feel that we all have higher calling, we all have a purpose. And we hear these terms a lot, on social media today, but that's true. We all have a higher thing to do. We are not just here for a limited set of things to do. And that inspired me to build this India's first men's fitness community, and especially for men, because there are a lot of challenges that we men go through, right? And even I had to go through a lot of challenges by myself growing up. I did not have mentors. I did not have the right people to support me, whether it's fitness, business, making money, getting a woman in life, or anything. I had to struggle and find my way out. So my idea to build this community and to help more men is to build a brotherhood where I am there. I have a team of people, and collectively we come together and we make men more incredible and make men the alpha male of their life.
Wow, so that's an awesome purpose that you have in life, that you're choosing something unique apart from what other people are doing. Like you have said that male, when it comes, they think about family, they think about bills, and they go under pressure a lot every day.
Right.
And you also
Correct.
mentioned that they have a small group of people who they share with, they drink a lot and share the same problems what happened in their company. And talking about attitude in men, and you have discussed in the history that people like Alexander the Great, at a young age, they had a big vision. Or it could be in Mumbai city where we are living right now, our Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj had a big vision that he
Exactly.
wanted a Swaraj. So right now, people are lacking that attitude in their life. So what do you think are some of the reasons why we are not able to think that great?
I think you pointed out a very great direction, Harshal. I always, consider Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj to be the role model. Not just them, but Swami Vivekanand. And we have so many great teachers, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, all of those leaders in history, right? From freedom fighters to, the people who are philosophers, they understood the meaning of life, because they did not succumb themselves to daily pleasures of life. And here's an interesting thing: we are living in a time of distraction. There are pleasures around us 24/7, right? From food, women, technology, games, getting getting drunk on weekends. All of these are the distractions. And I think it's a choice that a person can make, right? I have the same choices as you are and as everyone does. I have my friends calling me, asking me out to come for a weekend, go party. But I know the purpose that I'm working on. I know that this is something that I do not wish to do now, right? It's the time is over now. It's for me to build things, build companies, make more money, and help more people, and to make this world a better place. And everything starts from a small change, but that seed, that thought cannot come from anyone else. It has to come from within. When you realize this one fact, that You are here not just to pay bills, get drunk, swipe left or right on Tinder, or go out and hang out with friends. When you understand this small statement and this, uh, this line, it opens up a lot of possibilities in your head, and that is how these people could build great things, because they were connected to God, they were connected to their mother earth, they were connected to the nature, they were connected to the universe. They could, I would say, there was not much difference between God and themselves. Because there's an interesting quote that I read. The quote says that all the quote says that men are in God. Like all the men are in God. But the problem is, a lot of people don't believe this, and that is why we suffer. This, I think this quote was said by some a great Swami Maharaj. So I think these things, and the culture of India is still rich in heritage. We are very much strong in culture, and because these people realize the cultural values, and times back then were very very different, from what it is today. But I think today it's a fight, it's an uphill battle, you know, of if anyone who wants to make a great change in their life, it's difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's difficult because distractions are आपके आसपास. But again, it's a choice that you make, right? It's a
Yes.
choice everyone can make. It's a choice everyone can make. So I think that's the difference. And the quote I was referring to is rightly like this. Um, all men, all men are in God. Okay, all men are in God, but God, it was something like this. I just keep forgetting that quote. It's very tricky, it's very tricky to remember, because it's a very meaningful quote, so it's very tricky to remember sometimes. But for sure, if I come across that quote, I'll tag you, and your listeners can also watch that. So I hope I answered your question. Yeah, I can't hear you,
Yeah,
Herschelle.
sorry. Yeah. Yeah, that was really interesting answer that you have told. It's because of the choices that we take in our life, and based upon that we are
Yeah,
going into those surroundings. Like
right,
similarly, how I'm working on my purpose as well. There are distractions
correct.
outside. Like people call me, Are bhai, why are you working right now? You're so young. Why you have to do this? So etc. So it's like what do you call, people pulling us, but we have to stay focused on our work that we are going to do. And
Yeah.
talking about the choices that we make, I just got a small idea. Maybe it could be one of the seed that why people are not having that great attitude is because at an early age, maybe 16 to 22, people have an access to blue films. Maybe is it
Mm.
because of that that people are losing that attitude because they're doing it something secretly away from their parents, and because of that they have that guilty pleasure in themselves, and it is affecting their mindset. Is it true in certain way?
Very much true, Harshal. I think you pointed the right thing. Today, a lot of men are addicted to pornography. A lot of men, young men, old men, the list goes on and on, right? I speak to so many young men, I speak to so many old men, and they are so lured by pleasure, right? It's a sad thing that they can't get that from their partner. I mean, I'm not sure if they can see it, how it is disrupting their whole marriage ecosystem, how it is disrupting themselves as a person. They are getting much more and more hollow, and they're just jerking off while looking at some random woman on internet, right? And I think that's what I said, right? You have distractions all around you. You are lured by distractions. You want to have positions. Thanks to capitalists, all of this is making men more weak, docile. They can't make decisions. Their mindset is weak. Their choices are often bad and poor. Their food habits are bad. So one thing leads to another. If the food that you eat is not good, you will have the same kind of thoughts. If the thoughts are not good, you will make the bad choices in life. If you make the bad choices, you will go under depression, anxiety. And if you go in depression and anxiety, you will eat more of those foods, because now you're acting out of emotions. And if you're emotionally eating, you would go down the hill, right? And that is the turbulent times people are living, and they can't come out of this circle of this, or of this matrix, is what I say. It's a matrix, right? The government, all of these are putting us in matrix. I can't say these things publicly, on this forum, but that's the facts. If you just plug out, there are things there are things which are making us slaves of the system. And I speak about these kind of talks to a lot of other men, who are on the same path as me. So yeah, I think pornography is making men, I would say, pornography is making men more weak, bad decision making, irrational thinking, and they consider women as objects. That's not true. That's not how it should be, and that is why women think all men are dogs. So you see, fundamentally as society, it's going disrupting. We are disrupting the whole society. So men and women collectively need to come together and understand what it takes to be a man and what it takes to be a woman, rather than you know um, just following a 3-step process to pick up someone, or 5-step process to ask a woman out. I don't think that works anymore. We are above that. We are above that. Human, male and female, are the Shiva and Shakti. If you look at from spiritual angle, uh, Lord Shiva and Parvati Devi, it is a union, right? It's a male and a female, the masculine, the feminine. But people don't understand, and they are not ready to have an understanding, and that is why they choose these low vibrational pleasures in their life, porn, or getting drunk, or abusing people, getting into fights, all of these things.
Very well said, sir. Because those things, those activities that men do right now, I think it's because they're feeding their mind. I think so. The
Yeah,
mind is telling that, okay, I want to do something pleasure, and they go and do it. Maybe they follow someone on Instagram who is doing that way, and they go and do it. But instead of focusing on inner self, yeah, that there is a person, there is a soul within you who wants to grow, who wants to go to that higher levels. So they're not listening to themselves, but some other people, and they're getting lost in their life.
correct.
And you've also
Absolutely.
yes, sir. And also you've pointed out that because of those activities, our food habits also change. So when food habits also change, we know we try to become obese. We don't have control over on our health. So do you think that overeating or also in terms of health will affect a person in terms of his mindset and attitude?
I think very much, Herschel, as you rightly asked about the food habits. So that's what I said, right? It all starts. So every problem, right? Every problem starts from, where does it start from? It starts from the mind. Where does everything start from? Like the anxiety, the urge to eat, the urge to watch, the urge to go out, the urge to have a girlfriend. All of these start from a thought. And where does thoughts originate from? From your hand, from your legs, shoulder? No, it starts from this. And problem today that most people are not eating right, despite knowing that I need to eat right, despite knowing that I'm getting fat, and I need to start, new year is coming, I have my brother's wedding, everything. Despite knowing those things, they're still finding it so difficult because of the conditioning that is so much done on their mindset, right? That the conditioning, the layers and layers after layers of bad food choices, the environment around them is not growth oriented. It's the same people. Like like show me how much people around you are athletes, how much people around us are entrepreneurs who are making like 6 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures. How much people around us are like super focused in their work and they're spreading some good vibes. See, these people are very much selectively placed in all across the world. And why do people in Silicon Valley grow so faster? Environment. you know and there are a lot of athletes. There are a lot of athletes, Michael Phelps included. They put their mind to work. It's like, there's a video in that he says that before I go to practice, or before I compete, I mentally rehearse that I am winning, I'm doing this stroke, I'm going inside. So the mind work needs to be taken care of, and that is where most of the people lack, because again, nobody has taught them, not even the education system has taught them. And all of these leads to poor choices, food choices, poor habits, poor lifestyle choices. And once, and again, if you want to come out of that food choices, it becomes difficult because your old version is still with you. The old habits are still with you. Your old behavior is still with you. It's like, if someone want to give up smoking, want to quit smoking, he can't smoke. He can't give up on smoking. He does give up 1 day, 2 day, 3 day motivation, but it doesn't work. Fifth day, he's smoking the whole packet. you know so it's because of that conditioning and the behavior. So if someone wants to change, if someone wants to make the right food choices, someone is looking to change his life, and the only way to do that is by, number one, building the awareness that, okay, I am right now making the bad choices in my life. Having the awareness, like completely aware that, oh yes, I am messing this up, right? And we have two choices: either to mess that up badly or to make a change, right? First is awareness, second is the choice that we make. If we make, okay, that let's not do this anymore, let's not walk on the difficult path, let's walk on a healthy path. That's the choice that they make. And third thing, then they need to start taking small actions towards that goal. Small actions could be, as simple as having a 10-minute exercise routine, or following a fasting process, like 16 hours fast, 18 hours fast, something that will make a change, but something that's also easily doable. Not following a crash diet, or not getting on to, okay, I'll stop eating rice. you know you have been eating rice for all these years. How can you immediately stop that? Your body is not going to adapt to that. Your mind is going to say, are you kidding yourself? You are a fool. I know you will eat rice after a few days. So, small steps, small action which they can stick to, and then follow it for 10 days, 21 days minimum, because 21 days is what it takes, to build the habit. And from there onwards, they can build up more one by one habit. Just like pyramid, you have to build the solid foundation first in the very bottom. And the bottom is the awareness, you know. So if I were to give a blueprint right now to all the people who are listening to this, the foundation of the pyramid is your awareness. The second pillar of the pyramid is your choices. The third step are your daily action steps, right? And the fourth thing would be building it consistently, like doing that thing for a period of time. That's it. If you can do the doing without looking at the results of the doing, you will be successful. So those pyramids, are the framework that people need to understand.
Very rightly pointed out, because those things will be never taught in our schools. And if I take some of
Yeah,
the points that you have mentioned, one thing which I remember when you told about environment, that is, I remember a quote that is, your net worth is your network. So the
correct.
people you are surrounded with, based upon that, you will grow, or your income, or it could be in terms of mindset or anything, will start to grow. So that is the first thing that you need to have. Change your network if you want to change yourself. And also it comes in terms of knowing, as you pointed out, that if you want to change a habit, you need to be aware that, okay, I am doing this bad stuff. Most of the people, if they if we directly go and tell, stop drinking, they will tell, I'm not drinking that much, or I did not fall down when I drank so much. They're maybe not ready to accept that they're drinking, and because of their drinking habits, they are leading into those kinds of negative activities. So that is the important thing you need to have to all the listeners. Be aware of yourself. Do not think it just because he told me that I'm not drinking or I'm doing like this, don't do it in that way. So understand yourself, what you want to do and what you want to be, and from there you can grow. And one thing which I wanted to highlight, do you think that because of the morning routine and evening routine, that is just before going to sleep, like many people, they open their phone, they don't have the proper activities. Like what I do initially when I get up, I write my dreams, I write my goals, then I start with my day. But most of the people, they take the social media and they see and they start to compare with other people. So do you think that also could lead to a negative influence in their life?
Very much. I think anyone who wants to understand this in depth, I teach this, in my coaching. But to answer your question, Harshal, very rightly, imagine if you woke up, imagine if you woke up in what do you call cemetery where people are dead. Imagine you waking up there. What will happen to you? How will your emotions be? Very sad, negative, disempowering. That's what people are doing. They are waking up to the cell phone, watching people's emotions, news, negative feelings. यहाँ पे bomb blast हुआ, यहाँ पे ये मर गया, वहाँ पे वो मर गया. And that is what you're consuming in the first moment of the day, where your mind is attentive, where your mind is in receiving state, and you are collecting what? Shit in your head. No doubt your entire day is going to go like shit. That is the time when you are meant to do something productive. That is the time where your chakras are at the highest, your energies are at the highest, your mind is at the highest. It's all clean. Your mind have no thoughts. It's almost like a reset button, right? You have just s- gone to sleep and you woke up like a reset, and you are in symmetry, looking at other people's stuff, and your entire day will go like that. And that is why then your night will also spend become like that. Because if your day starts on a bad note, if people are aware, they can change, they can make a shift. But not many people are aware, because awareness is, it's like a muscle. Awareness is a skill. It's like a driving a car. If you want to drive a car in F1, you have to build that skill, right, to drive the car. Similarly, if you have to have that super amazing level of awareness, you have to build that skill, like building a muscle. And most people give up in 20 days, 15 days, 10 days. That is why they wonder, my life badal kyun nahi rahi hai. My 2021 looks the same and now it's 2023. What the fuck am I going to do? you know and that is why where most people are living. They're living in a matrix. I feel bad, but at the same time it's alarming. But there is nothing I can do. I always feel that you can only help the one who wants to be helped, right? You can't be the messiah for everyone. Everyone needs to take responsibility, take the ownership for their life. Nobody is coming to save. Everybody needs to save themselves, and that is when the god will save him or her you know
Mm. Yes, so that is really rightly said by you. It's our choices that we make and our stuff that we want to do. And it doesn't matter what other people think about us or what he thinks or what she thinks. It is our life and we need to focus on ourselves and move. And as you've already mentioned, that when we open our phone in the morning or before we go to sleep, we wake up in the graveyard. And also, there is one more kind of
yeah,
feeling that they get in life, that is, I am feeling stressed or I'm feeling lazy. I don't feel like
right,
working today. So, do you think is it
correct.
because of these activities, or what are the major reasons why people or men might feel stressed about?
So I think, see, there are a lot of stress in everyone's life, right? Let's accept that. The stress is not going to get over. The stress is always going to be there in life. Financial stress, family stress, money stress, job, everything. And I interestingly wrote this thing on LinkedIn today, on my personal profile on LinkedIn. It's not the fear, it's not the stress, it's not the anxiety, it's not the self doubt. It's the story. It's the story that everyone tells in their head. It's the story that's going on in everyone's head, right? Oh, I have a financial stress. Now, what if my job? What if I don't have a job? What if tomorrow there is no job for me? What if I lose a job? What if there is no money? What if this happens, that happens? That's just a story you are building up in your head, and that is how people go in a negative spiral. Why does a depressed person get more depressed? Why does a person who's suicidal becomes more suicidal and want to give up on life? He don't like meeting people because he's in a negative spiral. And that is how people operate, because that story gets so strong in their head, you know, that they think that the world is over now for me, you know. So people need to really stop that story that they're telling. It's not the fear, not the anxiety, not the self-doubt. It's all bullshit. It's the story that they keep repeating themselves again and again, And the story doesn't exist, to be honest, by the way. Guys, this story doesn't exist. It's just your mind making up. You know, it's just like escape from reality. You guys need escape from reality. You can't accept the truth. But I'm going to show you the truth because I'm going to be a true coach, a real person to you who really cares for you. I can't sugarcoat things, or sugarcoating is not going to make your life easier. It's going to make your life much, much, much harder than you imagine. So the truth is that you need to stop telling yourself the story, and you need to seek and find the truth.
Yes, sir. So that is the exact point, I think so, even which could relate to me as well. When I started on my journey as well, like I used to think maybe how will I find my guest, or maybe if that guest is very powerful, he might not come to my meeting. So many thoughts in my head. So what I used to tell, hey bro, stop. And let us open the phone, just start talking with people. So that is how I started connecting with you and other people, and also some other guests who were coming in the coming sessions. So that is the thing. When you have that small thought in your head that, okay, it is not possible from me, stop it there and take the phone or do that activity and complete it. Then you will find yourself being a bit more positive because you completed that activity, and those small accomplishments, maybe everyday's efforts, will build your character, will build your image, and you can start doing the things that you love to do. So that is awesomely said, sir. I could relate to it. I think so. Some other people as well in the podcast who also are doing some part time on their full time activities can help and grow in their life. And
Very much. I think when you do something, your mind just gets a dopamine reward. You get reward signals. Imagine if you are a podcaster, Herschel, and so am I. I speak, I write, I do content, I coach. That that thing gives me energy. Even if I'm sick, I am not keeping well from past 2 weeks, right? But since you speak to me, I'm on my high energy because those things give me dopamine signals. Those are rewarding signals for myself. Those hormones help me make me feel good because I am doing things that I love doing. Same for you people. If you guys love working out, if it's like guys love writing a script, singing a song, do that, and you will see that your hormones will change, your energies will go on a higher frequencies, and that's how you come out of that negative spiral.
yes, sir, that's a very well thought that you have shared for the community right now. And also with men who are into relationships as well, we need to speak about that as well. Because if you see these days, they as a couple, they have a lot of goals. We hear in social media, we hear in societies that he completed their couple goal or she completed a couple goal. But
I
right now,
think that's
mm,
for me, that's bullshit. My worldview, and people might not agree with that. That's totally okay. I don't speak to please people. I think when you stop pleasing people and when you live your own truth, you become more powerful. I think for me, why is that bullshit? Because I operate differently. I mean, everyone is differently. Everyone is wired differently. And today, if you see, there are more divorces happening than more marriages getting fixed. So people, rather than spending their money, time, energy on doing the best photo shoot that they can, they should rather understand each other better. They should spend more time among themselves rather than clicking pictures for the gram and getting more validation and likes. Some people might get offended right away, but that's what you need to accept the truth, you know. So I feel the marriages are now like like a game. They are more like a game now, so you need to understand how this game works. What are the rules? What is the player, the strength, weakness, and you need to come together. As I said, the masculine and the feminine, both of them need to come together and um, make a union. That's how these marriages will be flourished in the time, because it's a bad it's the times are not gonna get easy now. They're only gonna get tough. If you look at the scriptures, if you look at our Hindu philosophy, Kalyug to aa raha hai, Kalyug aa gaya hai, and the times are gonna get worse. You know, so I think people need to really rethink on their life decisions, and and give more thought, or I would say rather get coaching on how to make a marriage work. So we have come to this place now that people really need to understand how to make a marriage work, because it's just like another skill, because those adults are just grown adults. Most of them are not completely adults. They are just grown up children. And I hate to say this, they are like grown up children. They they are so fragile. They can't speak and communicate in depth. They don't know what's going on in their partner's mind or in their heart. They are very much superficial, and superficial things can't build great long lasting relations. So people really need to understand that it's a skill that they need to possess, that they need to get the coaching, because today the men and the women who are getting married, they have acquired that idea of marriage from their parents, and their parents have acquired from their parents, and parents aren't well equipped with how to make the relation work on a very deeper level. And even if the marriages worked at that time in 5, 20, 10, 15 years ago, times were different back then. There was no Bumble, Tinder, Isle, and all this bullshit. There were no hot chicks on the gram floating around, showing their assets. But today, that's the time has changed, and men, as I said, become have more weak. Men have become more weak because of their poor choices, not keeping themselves strong, not having a right community of men. And all these things are directly impacting their marriage. You know, and it's. I mean, it's scary for me. It's scary for my our friends that we talk about these things. But as I said, a person really need to come at the truth, and they themselves need to take the responsibility to change their life. They can't wait for someone.
Yes, sir. Actually, just interrupting in the middle. This is not for the record. So, yeah, sir, the bold talk that you have done regarding the couples and the weaknesses that men have while selecting their partner is very important right now. And selecting about a partner in our life is also a crucial and an important task for every man. So I just wanted to know the final question before we end the session, that is how we can select the love of our life.
I think to select the right woman in your life comes from becoming the right man. It comes from being a man of holding the highest standards for yourself, having your value system, having your belief system correct, having ethics. And if you're, I mean, woman comes with value. Man do not comes with value from birth. He has to earn the value. It's less, just like first you are a havaldar, then you get promoted, then you get promoted, then you get promoted, then you finally become colonel, general, who people salute. That's how man's life is. He has to build up a lot of accolades for himself. And while choosing the right partner, or the right woman in his life, it comes from being the right man. And this is the thought I have been thinking from past 2.5 years, from past 3 years, because initially we get excited to marry. It's like marrying. Oh wow! But only after you get married, you realize, what am I doing here? I don't even know myself. I haven't discovered who I am, and how can I live with someone else and discover and make them happy or make this thing work? So I think first, a man or a woman knows should know how to love themselves. Number one, um, should know who they are deep down in their core, what makes them angry, what makes them frustrated, what makes them turn on, what makes them turn off. A man or a woman should know that within themselves. And people today are looking at marriages, just like roadies. you know they come for fun, they enjoy, they think that they'll have great sex and everything. I think that's not what marriage is all about. It's a more spiritual thing. Marriage is more meaningful, it's more spiritual, it's more deep. But sadly, people have spoiled the meaning of marriages. And if anyone wants to find the right partner and loved one, I can't really tell of what to do. I think that's their own path that they have to find. Or if I give a prescription today, if I give if I tell that acha aapko ye 5 cheeze karni hai, do this and you'll find the right partner, chances are you will not. You will never find the right partner by doing these five things. Because I have done 100 things wrong and I'm still single and happy and successful, you know. But one has to find his own path. One has to do a lot of deep work, a lot of self work, because everything starts from the self. As I always say, a man has to make himself complete, because a woman can never make you complete. And I cringe on when people, and I see people putting, oh, my other half, oh, my incomplete, my making me complete. That's bullshit, man. If you are incomplete, what does it say? You are incomplete. You can't take someone into your life to make yourself complete. I mean, you're not a jigsaw puzzle, So I feel these concepts are somewhere broken, and that is why the society as a whole is somewhere broken. Um, but as I said, everyone has to come to the awareness to, make themselves, this relation and world a better place. I think it all it all it all starts from the process of self exploration. Doesn't come from me, it cannot come from Herschel, it cannot come from anyone in the world. It all starts within you, because you yourself have the answers. You just need to go within. Even though it's dark, you might not like it, but that is where the answers are.
Wow, sir, like that was really amazing again that you have mentioned about the love of the life, how we can find it. And the same things are also mentioned in the Holy Scriptures as well regarding love. If you read, you'll get to know more about it. It is not about being possessive about a girl, or it's not because the girl looks really great and we admire her for her
Yeah,
beauty. There are other things as well in spiritual. And when
yeah.
it
So
comes
I'll
to
just give
spirit,
you a small framework. If people are, really looking, what has helped me. I feel so. You always have to always. So let's say, if I put things in perspective, I am more of a hustler, entrepreneur, doing things, always building, not having, some. I'm always building. I'm always on the run. I'm not a guy who's sitting and watching TV and just taking it easy. I don't take easy in life. I'm built very strong. I'm strong. I have that strong masculine energy in me. So I always keep going. So I would find someone who's equally feminine in nature, who's calm, composed, loving, nurturing, who can settle this man down. Like, okay, relax, let's take a breath, let's go for a vacation. You know, I would find someone of that sort. I would not find an exact similar to me who's also an entrepreneur, always hustling. Then we'll never have a great life together, because we both are doing our own things. We are both building empires. Yes, we can build empires together, but at the same time, I know my energies. How am I as a person, or how do I vibrate, what do I do, no, what's my mode, what kind of mindset I operate from. I would not look for the very same mindset, because then there would be clashes. you know I would want a woman in my life who is equally supportive in my vision, and I support her in her vision. you know so you really need to know yourself first, as I said. And I think that's about it, Harshil. That's about it.
mm, nice, really nice. And when you're discussing about the type of person that you were looking for, I remember
Yeah,
something like when I attended one of the session on a Sunday. So they had discussed about something known as ROV, or rate of vibration. That is the desires that you have in life, and the thing that you meditate or think about it consciously, you tend to get those kind of situations or that kind of life partner or that kind of things coming into reality. So the what thing that you're vibrating or maybe always thinking about, you see that happening in reality. So that is the important thing that we need to know as well. It could be in finding the love, it could be finding in our career what we really want. If we keep on asking to the universe, the God, or it could be any universe, that I mean, it could be to the universe, and this is how we need to understand. So anyway, sir, not much taking of your time. So thank you for your valuable information that you have given. It is really great to have this session to you, and we have gone in depth to relate, maybe to talk about all the topics. So thank you, sir, for having and giving us this time.
thank you, Arshil. Really appreciate, and keep doing the great work. I think many more people will get benefited from your work. from your podcast that you're doing. All the best to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. All the best, sir. Bye.